Hi, welcome to my channel. Today we're starting the concept of time value of money. In this topic, we are going to discuss how time affects investability and how should a finance student deal with taking decisions regarding investability of money with a certain return of interest in mind. But first of all, one should be aware of the concept of time value of money. Time value of money is best defined as the money which you can receive today would be better appreciated than money which you receive at a later point in the future. That is why it is described as money now is worth more than money later. For example, at 0 year right now, you can have 10,000 rupees. Okay, but the other option is after 1 year you can have the same amount of money. Right now, this is known as the P, present value. If you receive the money, its value is 10,000 in market value. But if you wait for 1 year to receive the same amount of money, it's a later period. This is money now, this is money later. Same amount of money you can either receive now or you can wait till 1 year. What do you think? Which one is better, receiving now or receiving later? Obviously, from a layman's point of view, it doesn't really matter because you are receiving 10,000 each. But from a financial standpoint, money now is much better than money later if the amount of money is same. Because of the involvement of time, T, and the involvement of R, rate of interest. So what is important is T and R. Both are involved in this. You are waiting 1 year, you're also losing interest on 10,000 that you can have now. So this means money receivable, the same amount of money receivable in the future has lower value than the same amount of money that can be received now. How? Suppose say you receive 10,000 now from a friend, $10,000. The same friend doesn't pay you. He says, please wait 1 year, I will pay you, but he's not offering to pay you more than 10,000. You calculate that if this is 0 year, if I take the 10,000, deposit that money in the bank at 10%, I will earn interest at 10% for 1 year. So 10% interest on 10,000 for T, 1 year. I said T is 1, so you should write 1. So T is 1, R is 10%, present value is 10,000. So that comes to 1,000 rupees. If you can have 10,000 now and invest it in the bank, you can earn 1,000 in 1 year. So at the end of 1 year, bank will pay 10,000 plus 1,000, a total of 11,000. This is P, principal amount. This is this is I, the interest. This is S, the sum of interest plus P. So if you want to wait to receive 10,000 in 1 year, then you are losing 1,000. So this means money now cannot be equated with money later. Money later has a lower present value given the involvement of time and rate of interest. So that is why the entire study of finance is dependent upon time value of money concept. If you ignore it, then the entire study is irrelevant for you. Once you take into consideration the things like time, periods, and return of interest on the amount of investment, that is 10,000 present value or principal, then you can say that I need to get 11,000 in 1 year to be equivalent of 10,000 in 0 year. So that is why money now is worth more than money later. This concept is repeated in every decision, every investment decision, every financing decision, every dividend payment decision in finance. Time preference money. Time preference money is because you prefer money to be in 0 year than in 1 year or second year. Money here in 0 is greater than money in 1 year or money in 2 years. So you have a preference for money at year 0 now. Because a risk is involved, you have to wait for 1 year or 2 years. So there is a risk. What is the guarantee that the friend will return you the money? Preference. If you have the money now, you can invest it. You can earn interest. If you have the money now, you can buy goods. If you don't have the money, you have to wait till 1 year or 2 years. If you don't have the money, you cannot invest that in the bank, so you cannot earn interest. So you lose out on investing. Like I said, if you have 1,000 now, it is not equal to 1,000 in 1 year's time. It will be lower. The value of 1,000 in 1 year's time is much lower than 1,000 which you have now. So because the investor is waiting to get same amount of money in some time in the future, he is taking a risk. Because he is taking a risk, he must be given a risk premium. Your required rate of return for this waiting period of time, the time preference, is risk-free plus risk premium. Risk-free rate can be defined as that amount of interest which you can earn without taking any risk. So your rate of return required on an investment is risk-free plus the risk premium. Why timing is so important? As I have already told, opportunity cost, the opportunity to earn interest. In time, if there is inflation, your value of the money goes down. And if you wait for 1 year or 2 years, you also undertake a risk. Both financial and non-financial risks are involved if you are waiting to get your money in the future years. So because of that, timing is so important in financing and investing decisions. So because of that, T and R, the concepts of time and concepts of interest comes into play, and timing or time value of money is becoming more and more important, and we must understand that you need to factor both time and interest costs, opportunity costs, to postpone consumption and investment. Need to understand concepts of simple interest and uh, compound interest to be able to understand how R and T works. R is rate of interest, T is timing. Simple interest means if you invest in the bank for 1 year, at the end of the year interest will be paid and principal will be paid back. For every further year, only interest on principal will be paid and no interest on the first year's interest will be paid back to you. So interest is pretty simple. Assume that you have deposited 2000 rupees in an account which earns 10% simple interest for 2 years. Simple interest, the formula is P into R into T. P is principal, that is 2000. R is 10%. Time period is 2. Sometimes we can also call it N, number of years. So simple interest earned in 2 years is P into R into T. $2000 into 0.10, 10% into 2, that's 400 rupees. $400. So this means a simple interest of $400 will be earned in 2 years. If you invest for 1 year, you will get $200. How? 2000 into 10% for 1 year, 200. So this is simple interest, but simple interest concept is in mathematics, but it is not implemented in finance. Let's go into the second concept, that's compound interest. Compound interest is interest on interest. For example, if in 0 year you paid 2000 to your friend, at the end of year 1 you earn 10%. How much is 10% for first year? 200. What your total amount becomes at the end of year 1? 2200. Year 2 you get interest on 2200, not on principal, on principal plus interest, that is 220. So you get 2420 in 2 years. Fine. But in simple interest, you get 2000, you get 1 year 200, second year you also get 200, 10% on 2000, so your amount is 2400. Compare that to here. At the end of first year, in compound interest, you have to add both principal and interest for the first years to get the balance. Then second year interest will be calculated on the total balance for first year. So you get 220, which is 10% of 2200. So you get 2420. So under compound interest, you are getting 2420. In compound interest, you are getting 2420. In simple interest, you are getting 2000. Compound interest, simple interest. What is your principal? Compound interest, you are getting 2400. So what is your interest? This is S, sum. This is your P. So you are getting interest of 420 in 2 years. You are getting interest of 400 in. So here interest is greater by 20. So finance function uses this compound interest concept where interest is calculated on interest. As a result, money becomes bigger and bigger as the number of years progress. Compounded sum S is calculated as P into 1 plus I. I is the rate of interest to the power n. N is number of periods or T. So 2200 multiplied by 1 plus 0.10 to the power 2. It is 1.21, 24, 20. You can use a calculator. You can also make use of Excel formula. In a lot of part when we will do capital budgeting, we can make use of an Excel sheet for understanding concepts of interest calculation in Excel using Excel formulas. So note that interest in this example is compounded annually. Interest is compounded only once annually. At the end of the year, interest is compounded only once. In simple interest, interest is not compounded because we don't add the interest of first year to 2000 to get the balance at the end of year 1. Because of that, total amount of interest in compounding is greater in the second year than simple interest. So if you are using compound interest in investing, you are getting higher amount of interest. What if interest is compounded biannually? Biannually means twice in a year. So in that case, interest is total interest, annual interest by 2, and n is 2 into 2, because n becomes, if you compound biannually, 6 months, once in a 6 month, in 2 years you will be compounding 4 times, but your interest per 6 months will become half, that is 5%. So in that case, 2000 into 1.05, 5% to the power 4, it becomes 2431. So compounded amount of sum is 2431. Total amount of interest received in 2 years is 431. You can remember that in annual compounding you got an interest of 420. That means if you are compounding more number of times, interest is increasing. So compounded biannually means twice in a year. Interest is paid twice in a year. Fine. Next, what if it's compounded quarterly? This means 4 times. So that's once in 3 months. Every 3 months interest is calculated. So 4 times in a year, 8 times in 2 years. The rate becomes 10% by 4 because 4 times in a year, 2.5%, 2.5% into 8. So 2436, total amount of interest is approximately 437. So that's greater than what you are getting in biannual compounding. This is quarterly, not biannually. 4 times. We can also do it once in a month, sometimes. What is compounded annual monthly? Monthly. It is a wrong typo. Monthly means 12 times per year. At the end of every month, interest is compounded. So interest n is 2 into 12, that is 24. 4, this is by 12, 0.83%. 0.83, 10% by 12 is 0.83%, 0.0833 to the power 24. So that becomes 2440. So that's 441 interest approximately in 2 years. Annually, we were getting 420 as interest. If you are compounding monthly for 2 years for the same problem we have taken, interest is increasing from 420 to 441. We go to the next slide to see the comparison. Simple interest. Your principal is 2000, interest is 10%, compounded, not compounded, n is 2 years, interest is 400, total amount you got after 2 years is 2400. Annual compounding, interest is 420, total is 2420. So you can see increment in S. Biannual, it is increasing. Total amount of interest is increasing further in quarterly, further in monthly. So the total amount of interest and the S is highest in monthly, second highest in quarterly, third highest biannually or 6 monthly, 6 month, 3 month, 1 month. So you can see this is known as power of compounding. You can see that the amount of interest that is received increasing with each increase in compounding. Interest rate is decreasing as per the number of compoundings. Number of compoundings or n is increasing. So this means if you are into investment, you would like to get more and more compoundings. If your interest is recalculated more frequently, you will get more interest and total amount you will get at the end of the period is highest. In the next video, we will see power of compounding. We'll further study this compounding process before going into the real time value of money concepts. Fine. So this is it for today. We can sum up the things that as we compound more number of times, the rate of interest is smaller. As we compound more number of times, number of period N or T becomes larger. Sum received under compound interest is greater as number of compoundings rise. That is why compound interest, the concept of compound interest is used in finance everywhere. And time value of money is so important to understand in finance. In share market, stock market, wherever you go, this is a concept that will be used. Thanks so much for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel. You can also email me for further queries, for instructions, for examples, and for other helps. Thank you. Please subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.